Now, okay. Hey, Davy Jones. How's it going? All right. It's gonna take a little bit here. I'm doing all right. If I can get this to work for me, I'll be doing even better. There. Okay. So, I need... It's not gonna like that, is it? Hey, bum. I've been meaning to get back to that game. Apparently there have been a few updates for it. And I think that whatever embargoes and such are done. So let's see. Of course, I have other things to finish first, so, you know. All in due time, I guess. Do not autofocus. Put that up to here. Okay, well, apparently YouTube is not gaining any footage from me. Where is the focus point? Obviously, in here would be better. But what I want to do is get it zoomed in a bit here. Alright, tell you what. What we're going to do... We're just going to go ahead and swap over. disconnected again? What is going on here? I'm not really sure why it keeps disconnecting my audio. Okay. What if I take the exposure? That's actually, there we go. So this is, I don't remember the name exactly. It is just a generic marine character from Reaper Miniatures. But what I wanted to do was paint them up like Starship Troopers, sort of ish. More based along the lines of Duncan's painting tutorial, with a little bit more color variety. Okay, so what I gotta do first, as you can see, it already has just a little bit of paint on it because I did paint it before. So here are my previous attempts, which there's no highlighting, so they look incredibly dark. But I didn't really like it because there's just no color variety. So, dusty as hell too. Boy, I'm gonna have to change that again. It is significantly darker. Don't do that. Grab that, and then that, and then that, and then bring that exposure back up. Okay, so when it's not just blatantly white, it actually... 6 is not too bad. Where was it? 7 by default? That might be okay. There. We'll try that for the setting. But anyway, yeah, so like they're just these generic marine characters. And I've got a whole squad of them. But I wanted to... Boy. I let these things get really dusty. Anyway, so like, I tried stripping this, and obviously it didn't work completely because there's still paint on it. But the thing about these Reapers is that they are supposedly not, they don't require priming, is what they say. But man, the paint just absolutely peeled off of this once I put it in some alcohol. So it's not the greatest. What are they called? Let me see here. Reaper Marines. It's like MB Reaper Miniatures. For fuck's sake, I don't care what country I'm from. IMEF is what it's called on Reaper Miniatures website. They are IMEF Marines. And so I guess they released like 3 of them just as generics, and then the rest of them they had names. I have no idea what it stands for. Intergalactic Marine Earth Force or something. I don't know. It's a made-up name. None of the stuff that Reaper Miniatures does, I don't think has any real in-depth story. I think they just make stuff up. But anyway. Alright, where are my brushes? So I need to basically come up with not only a color scheme, but a painting scheme as well. I've been watching a lot of painting tutorials from channels I haven't seen before, or channels that I don't watch. Just trying to get a little bit more inspired on how to do my own stuff. And boy, I don't know. Like there are tons of painting channels out there, tons of amateur, you know, like my level of painting channels out there, and very few have actually taken off anywhere. Like there's still, you know, several thousand subscribers, several thousand views on their videos and all that, but like if I think I'm gonna break into painting, boy, am I mistaken. Like you gotta be really good. Be really good to get noticed. So either that or have some kind of standout technique. So we're just gonna see. Neon pink. It's funny you say that because I did come across somebody who looked like they were trying to change their style before they just kind of abandoned the channel. A lot of these channels stopped posting videos like 2 to 4 years ago, so I'm not sure how bad COVID had an impact on them. But anyway, there was somebody who, before the end of their channel, was trying to do like the neon wave kind of pinks and pastel neon blues and purples and stuff. So I mean, I could do that. But the thing is, I think a lot of people watch painting tutorials to try and figure out how they're going to paint their own miniatures, and I doubt very many people are going to go for that kind of scheme. So going the novelty route once in a while, maybe. But I think we'll just go kind of boring for right now. All right. Okay, so this isn't going to be anything here. I have to be careful too, because what this is a light box that I bought because I wasn't getting proper lighting the way I'd been doing things so far. So it's a nice little box that provides exactly all the lighting that I need, but you know, I don't want to flick paint all over it either. So we're just going to go into some very boring base coating right now. And brush priming. I really should actually do this with spray can because this rubbery plastic is not going to hold the paint very well, unfortunately. Oops. Well, I mean, that's that's sort of my option here, is trying to see if I can do this in a brush paint. It might be too thin. We'll have to do several layers and see how that turns out. I thought I was going to be able to do my camera over the shoulder. It is significantly in the way right now. I can't get the marine to be inside the confines. This is really wet. I might have watered this down just a bit too much. This is also just generic craft store paint that I'm using as peeling paint right there. As the basing stuff. I'm gonna have to get that out. So it's not probably the best coverage either. Okay, what are my options for this? I've got... There we go. I got tweezers. Oh, I think that's actually just flashing. Alright. I'm gonna do some of this off camera, unfortunately. So what I was thinking, I could sort of double down on this, and I think where a lot of these painting channels burn out, especially the ones that aren't able to do it full time and have a nice all big setup and everything, I think it's the editing down. So obviously, were I to do it myself, I would need to record it and then edit it and all that stuff. But I think if I can get my setup to work, figure out the best configuration for all of this, I could do like a streaming and then just trim down the streaming. Okay, that definitely is paint. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just wasting my time with this. I should be focusing on something else. Because the other part of this is, do I make this a separate channel, or do I put it as part of my Gazworks channel? Because really, if I was to do that, to compensate for the complete genre shift on my second channel, I would need to justify it by something that I was making. And since I did want to do 3D printing and modeling to make my own miniatures, I could do it that way. And then do like a model, print, and paint. And that would work. Because I already sort of have an audience for that, and I've already got like 3,000 subs on that channel. So I wouldn't be starting from scratch, but at the same time, I think YouTube tends to frown on stuff like that. I think it is better when channels are more genre specific and they don't go variety and they stick to a theme. And I think audiences probably, I mean, like my streams, you know, this is a video game channel, for crying out loud. Why am I doing painting? Why am I doing all the various stuff I've done on stream? But, you know, I think that I'm just not very good at YouTubing. It's going to have been 13 years this summer. I still don't know what I'm doing. So I guess maybe if I held this, because this is another thing where it's really just more of an experiment for setting up. And in my situation, I'm going to have to figure out how to angle this. So I guess really I need to be focused more on camera work than actually substance for these streams, just so I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing here. I guess we can do the base too. The base needs to sort of be repainted. I probably should have just left the paint that was on there stay as my base paint. Well, maybe doing niche wouldn't be so bad, but I don't know. I think I'm going to struggle without some kind of focus. All right. Yeah, that was too much water added. It's taking a bit longer for that to dry than I would like. But we'll just have to give it a moment. The fact that this is an LED light means that it's not going to produce the heat that I need to dry out the minis. So, we'll see. You know what's kind of disheartening about things too is there's a channel, what's it called? I don't even remember. There's so much content I've been watching the last week. But anyway, like he's pretty good, and not just the painting and all that, but the video quality, the editing, all that stuff. Mostly, I think it's his board making stuff that is really caught fire for him. And by fire, I mean like they're his most popular, but they're still not that big. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, his channel is just oh, there it is. David Blue Line Gaming. And he's been at it for a few years, but like, small channel. Not even 5,000 subscribers, but just the quality of his videos and the work that he does, pretty great. But he just posted a video like a month ago saying that he's quitting just because his channel never took off or whatever. And I'm just thinking like, wow, even if this guy who's clearly putting effort into this is failing enough that he's just giving up, should I even bother? Because I'd be putting out hopefully a weekly video of this stuff, because I don't think it would be too difficult to maintain that pace, especially if I just did like a marathon painting on like a Sunday or something. That'd be enough content to break it up. But like, I just don't know. On the other hand, there's one that I do watch frequently. He might even have a video up today. Let me look. Does not appear to. God, I'm trying to find his channel so I can see how much. Okay, there it is. So, Sonic Sledgehammer, this New Zealand guy, he puts out a video every 2, 3, maybe 4 days. And, his stuff is pretty decent, but it's, I don't know, I would say acceptable quality, or accessible, there you go. Accessible quality, meaning that like it's for the everyman painter to just be able to do their miniatures and make them look nice. But very basic videos. It's just, no real fancy editing or anything like that. It's just him painting. And he, by comparison, has like 70,000 subscribers. And even his new videos, just posting, gets thousands of views. So like, where's that's quite a spectrum. Yeah, I'm waiting for this to dry. I did stop painting, but I need this to dry, and it's getting there. I could probably do another coat right now. But it's just, Like, it's stuff like that that just reinforces to me that YouTube is really just a crapshoot. Like, who knows? Who knows what's going to be successful, you know? Who knows why it's successful? Granted, the Sonic Sledgehammer has been doing this for years and years, whereas some of these newer channels have only been doing it probably since lockdown, and now they have other things to be doing. But, I mean, it's just... is it worth the effort? I guess for me, were I going to maintain sort of the variety stuff, I could end up doing this at any point, at any time. So, like, rather than saving all of that for a weekend, maybe I could do this during an evening stream or something. Alright. I think the coverage of that is pretty good. It's still really wet, which I'm not a fan of. But we'll give that a moment to dry. So the technique I'd like to maybe focus on is the slab chopping method, which I've used in previous painting streams. And it can be nice. It's mostly still considered just like a speed painting, you know, amateur hour thing. But I think that a channel dedicated to that technique, and if I could make it look nice, might actually be good. It might actually be a way to stand out a little, or at least be to differentiate it. Oh, have I been muted the entire time? God damn it. Oh well. Nobody really watches these anyway. Yeah, something like that. All of these little paint bottles have agitators in them, which is nice. Because the thing about Army Painter paint is that it separates very easily. Oh, holy shit, it's gonna take forever to find the color that I want. I don't even know, like, does this... All right. Still hasn't dried completely, but that's that part right there. Right in there is very wet. All right, we'll give it a shot. Damn it, where'd my cap go? Need to get all the paint particles out of this brush. All right. Now that that is shaken up, yeah, actually, you know what? Actually, that might be just fine. That's what I've been actually listening to for the past couple weeks when I work. I've been bringing up all the SimCity soundtracks. Unfortunately, is absolutely not something I could have as a background music for a stream, because every time I play a SimCity game, every soundtrack immediately gets flagged for copyright. Bring that into focus here. Yeah, actually, my first, well, I guess it's the only SimCity 3000 playthrough on my channel, but I struggled with that one a lot when I first did it because like every video was getting flagged for something, and not even immediately. Like sometimes I still get a flag as the algorithm finds the video again. And that series, man, is just chopped to hell because I've had to edit out so much audio on it all the time. It's really bad. So I would like to do another 3000 series, but this time without that problem. That actually dries pretty quickly, all things considered. Whereas there's still that wet paint in there from the black. Well, I did want to. I've been thinking about it for a while. I was going to go back to SimCity 3000. First, I need to... No, I just need to motivate myself to start making videos again because I haven't been doing that for like a month. But I need to get freaking Anno done. Okay, this is not going to work out as well as I had hoped. Where's the proper... Okay. So right here is actually pretty good for focus. Probably should have worn more paint off of that. That's okay though. The thing about this technique is that it makes for really dark painting. So it's actually better if there are some really bright focused areas. Which is not that. Yeah, that's not bad. There's still a real problem. Let me bring this up again. Is it the brightness? Is it the white balance? What is it doing? Oh no, let's not mess with that. Like the exposure, that's too dark. And that's too bright. That washes it out. So like, I'm pretty much stuck there. This is not the highlight stage, no. This is sort of the overbrush stage. Highlights will be next. What about... That sort of washes that out. God, I got the shakes. I can't keep this thing... I can't keep this thing in focus. If I did bring that up to like 150, that's a little bit better. Actually, that's more in line with the accurate color. Alright. Let's try that. But I have to have my hand right about here. Okay, let's try just a little bit more. Back in here. Maybe down in there too. Now, I mean, realistically, that should probably have stayed. Damn it. Probably should have stayed the color that it was. Just because it is in shadow. Okay. Let me get my brush ready for the next color. Although, I wonder if maybe I shouldn't be doing that. I wonder if I should maybe just use a different brush for that. Apparently you're not supposed to wash your makeup brushes. Which is kind of weird. Alright. So I suppose we can try it. Just need to break up the bristles a little bit. It's not as soft as this one. All right, let's shake this up. White just isn't very good color for that. All right, let's see what we can do here. If I can keep it in focus, that would be great. That looks like a little too much. See, now this is the hardest part. Like, dry brushing is supposed to be really easy, but I always struggle with just how much to use, and especially since I'm using the contrast paint technique, it kind of requires a lot of white. I mean, this might not even work anyway for these miniatures. I might just have to change what I'm doing. Just go more traditional method anyway. Working. I did not ever play that. No, I've never. Well, the only vampire games that I've ever played for the channel were those text-based ones. But I never played the role-playing. Pen and paper or video games. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go in here. Do this by hand anyway. Really doing more of an overbrush with this than I am a dry brush, but I need that color to actually do something for me. I don't know if it's just this brush or what. What was it? They just did a re-release of that game not too long ago, right? Remaster of it. God damn it. Of Vampire the Masquerade. I thought they released it again a few years back. What happened? Hello? Boy, that's not working out for me there. Well, why did everyone start playing it again a few years ago? Because I seem to recall that. Like, was it a different game? Was I thinking of... What do you mean I'm not permitted to see? What the fuck? They're releasing Bloodlines 2. I could have swore people were playing the game again, though, very recently. Like within the last year or two. Was it just a trend? No. I gotta look this up. Just to know I'm not crazy. They released Vampires. Okay, Swan Song is what they released. That was one of them. But yeah, like 2 years ago, here's a Let's Play of Bloodlines. They seem to have released a VR version or something. Wait. What one was this one? So 2 years ago for that one. 3 years ago for this one. 1 year ago for this one. Did they release like an HD or something? Maybe. I don't know. But like this looks... This one in particular looks like it's remastered. This one that I'm seeing on Quintessence of Games. This was a year ago. Like, this doesn't look like old... Well, I mean, it does look old graphics, but it looks like updated graphics, like HD graphics. So maybe that's what I'm thinking? They released a graphical thing? I don't know. Maybe a fan patch? All I know is that people started playing it again after all these years for some reason. Because I wasn't really all that interested in the game, I didn't pay attention to why. I just assumed. Okay. Well, now that we got that, I think I'm going to have to actually come in here with a brush. Okay, not that one. Brush, where are you? I think that's my brush. Layering brush. Probably not the best. I should probably actually be using real paint for this. Not my dollar store paint. This is not going to give me a very smooth finish at all. But I definitely want a smoother color for the armor. That is completely out of focus. See, I think in certain places it's doing terrible things for this brush. What is with this? Bristles are all over the place. Kind of defeats the purpose of what I just did with all the dry brushing. But the problem with contrast and speed paints is that they really need that brighter undercoat. So I don't know. Starbound is a really good example of a game, I think, that overcomplicated itself. You never hear about it anymore, and I think it drove away a lot of its player base with all the updates that they had did. Because it certainly never got as big as Terraria. I think it is certainly time to retire this brush. I'm not getting any kind of tip out of this. Maybe do something like that. Gotta help the dry brushing along just a little bit. Give it some focal points. Yeah, so that doesn't look like anything just because of the camera. But hopefully once I get this paint on here, it'll start popping out the details, which is sort of the whole point of using it in the first place. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I really actually do need to find a color. Slide of red, slide of red. Unfortunately, I don't think... Well, maybe. Maybe this one will work. Only one way to find out. I suppose, though, if I'm going to do this the proper way, what I need to actually do first is skin tones. Damn and blast. In which case, where are my skin tones? You know what we will use this one. I don't know if I could use that soundtrack, to be honest with you. I like using the video game soundtracks just because I know that most of them are okay. Uh-oh. Gotta plug. Gotta get the plug out. Okay then. Well, I don't know. That might be a little too dark. We'll find out. I definitely don't have enough on my brush. Bit more in there. That'll come out all right when we highlight. Get that nasty thing off my brush. Okay. Tyrian Navy, huh? Oh, before I go doing that, damn. I need to be painting my caps. Need to be remembering to do that. That way it's easier to figure out what color I am using. Alright, give that just a moment to dry. Okay, let's pop this one open and see what you look like. God damn it. Okay, well, that is too much paint. But here we go. Oh boy. That is exceptionally dark. Well, let's just see. Oh, that's definitely a blue. Yeah, I don't think I want that one. It's a very nice dark blue, though. I like it. But it's not appropriate for what I'm trying to do here. Of course, now it is impossible to get off. As I take all the underlying paint along with it. Excellent. Well, I'll just have to go back over in white. Hell, maybe I should just do this the normal way. The skin's gonna need some highlighting for sure, but I knew that. Okay, well, we're... See, this would be good too, because then I could just use streaming as an experimental thing while I'm actually trying to figure out the real paints. Alright, well, let's try this then. Let's try... I don't know about that either. Well, I mean, it definitely needs, like, multiple coats to cover up all the streaking. And it's going to have to dry like crazy. I'm curious to see what color that turns when it's dry, though. These other caps. I mean, that is such a dark blue. What that would actually be good for is if I was to shade like a black. I kind of wish I had that color in regular paint. Okay, well that still sort of dries nice, I guess. And it's kind of a darker green than I would actually expect. I think it's just my method of painting sucks. I don't think this is going to work out. I think I should just go back to a more traditional color setup here. Fuck me, get in there. Paint bottles are getting a little uppity. Well, at least I know what those colors are. I need a much better painting system than this too. Just keeping all this stuff in a box. Alright. Let me, instead of just saying that I'm gonna finish this guy, let's just use him as an experiment. Wizard's Orb, Greenskin, where the fuck? I know I've got like a military, there we go, Army Green. That's gonna take some shaking. My favorite Chaos God? Oh, probably Tzeentch. I think the models for Tzeentch look a lot cooler and the color scheme is nice. I don't know, there's just something about the way that the Games Workshop has their paint schemes and their color schemes and all that. They don't care too much about Nurgle. Everyone from Nurgle looks exactly the same. Same paint schemes, everything. Like, it's just, there's too much green to make it interesting. And the Khorne characters and figures and all that, I'm a fan of the red and brass, red, black, and brass color scheme. But with the exception of a few characters, all of their things look the same. And Slaanesh, about the only thing they ever put out are the demons, the demonettes. Well, yes, I mean, they do very much differentiate the Nurgle characters a lot, just from like all the tentacles and pustules and things that they put on their models, for sure. I just don't, I don't know, the color scheming for that, maybe it's just the way everyone paints it, but it's just the same color green for all their Marines and whatnot. And what I do like is, I guess, the 30K paint scheme of the Death Guard, where it's like the white and green color scheme. I'd like to see more differentiation there in paint schemes, rather than using the sickly green that's sort of standard for Nurgle armies. I'd like to see more color variety with whites and greens. Alright. I don't know. Even the label on this thing. Not quite right. Oh god, I gotta pop this one too. Where? There it is. Yeah. Just something aside from the same coloration. Because I think a lot of the other chaos patterns allow you a little bit of variety, but everyone seems to do Nurgle exactly the same. Well, one cool thing that Tzeentch color schemes do is they have that purple to blue and pink shift. You know, so they'll have that kind of color transition. Maybe Nurgle would be good for something like that. Like, you know, not like a dark green, but maybe like a pale pastel kind of green at the tips. So like you got the real vibrant, like purpley pink that just shifts all that. Well, Zinch for armor tends to gear towards blue and gold, but it's like blue, gold, purple, pink, sometimes red. I mean, it depends on if you're doing like the flame color scheme too. White. So like, well, here, let me go get them. I painted up some Zangors a while back for Beastman variety. So, okay. So like this one is very traditionally Tzeentch, right? It's the blue and gold scheme. And I didn't really do anything. I mean, I got the sort of purple tentacles in the back, but I didn't do a whole lot with this one. Silver and gold in there too. But then there's like, because I went off of a lot of the box art stuff. So then, you know, there's a different color scheme where they added orange into the mix that I think looked really nice. That helped out a lot, keeping that looking different. But then there is, on the box art, there is a different color. That's not a good example. Different color pattern for the armor. So like this one they went with silver, a silver armor scheme. This isn't the best example of that. I need to turn on my light here so I can see. But then they've also got like a black armor. Where is it? That's a good one. So like a nice black and gold patterning and the red gems as opposed to the blue gems. And this one probably would have looked cooler if I'd done like an orange feathers on it or whatever. But I haven't eaten anything today. I kind of got up late, so that's probably part of that. But anyway, oh, here, okay, so here, if I can get you out of here without ripping all the other ones out. So like sort of the black and orange contrasts nicely, I think. So like there is that overall main theme of the blues and golds, but I think that there's enough variety added in there to just give it, you know, some differentiation. Whereas I don't really see stuff like that in a lot of the other armies, which, you know, would be nice. Like, yeah, if they did do not just pink tentacles, but for Nurgle, but also like the green, the sickly green, or browns, or just, you know, any other kind of scheme needs to be added into it just to make it not look the same. I know that for like the Poxwalkers and things like that, people can add in a little bit of variety for like zombies, plague zombies and all that. But Did I hurt my finger? No, that's just paint on it. Okay, well now that it's had some time to dry, I don't think that's the right color for me. So, oh, I did already put it out. Let's see, this looks a little, I don't think this is right either. So this is the actual army green. That is certainly army green. Like, that is undeniably army green. So that's not the right color. Well, bud, looks like you're going to be getting another paint job here when I'm done. The search for the perfect color. What is that? That is purple. That is not going to work. Okay. I think I'm just going to do like a more traditional paint. What did I... Oh, you know what? I do have one more option here. Oh, I do have Warp Lightning. Interesting. That's not what I'm after, though. That's Black Templar. That is Magos Purple. Wow. It's been a while since I've had these ones. You can see the paint separation from the pot. Gryph-Charger Gray. None of these are what I'm in here for. There you go. I should probably get in the habit of shaking my paints every couple months, even when I'm not doing any painting. I'm gonna separate pretty badly otherwise. So, aside from trying to use the contrast and speed paints as just sort of a generic put-down coat, I think a lot of people try and use it as sort of a shading, and maybe that would just be more appropriate. That is not the right brush. So maybe I'll just have to settle for doing that. Alright, so let's check out this one in comparison. So actually that's pretty similar to that army green there. But again, it's not what I want. What was that color called? Alternatively, I could just do that. Looks a little bit more... Yeah, it looks more like an Acadian coloration, which is not really the color that I wanted it to go for. So it's a little bit darker, and it is picking up that undercoat, so that's definitely not the right way to do that. It was not orc skin. It was called Gunner Camo, which I guess, I mean, that's a little bit more of a jungly. It's not really showing up here. Okay, let me come into properties, configure the video. So I bumped up the brightness. Let's see if bringing that down puts it back. Okay, so that's a little bit better. If I can get it back into focus. Maybe going with the black background, backsheet, was not a good idea. I need maybe a little bit more reflective in the backside. Let me see, what lighting options do I have here? Nothing really. Definitely don't want to darken that. Well, anyway. But yeah, so like that green definitely not appropriate for what I'm looking for. That would be a very good subtle highlight for that, so I'll have to remember that part. I don't know what I would use that for. But I don't really want them to be green either. So what I think I might end up doing would be like a green shade. Green wash. Where is my green wash? Alright, I need to keep track of my brushes here. Alright, so this is Military Shader. First of all, let me just try it as its own. Oh, doesn't cover worth a damn. I mean, this is a wash. This is not speed paint. So its coverage is not going to be great. Much lighter. But if I gave, say, this, I kind of like that, actually. See if I can't blend it a little bit. Let's let that go. Let that dry and see. It's still not the color I'm after. None of these are. I think the whole thing is just going to have to be repainted. I think it's that white highlight that's not really a highlight. The white highlight is only supposed to be an edge highlight. Probably should have used like actual white paint, not the cheapo paint. I bought the cheapo paint just for specifically doing the brushing, the highlighting and the overbrushing, just so I'm not wasting good paint on it. but it definitely doesn't have good coverage and it streaks way too much. Maybe it would go well over gray. All right. Well, because this green, I thought that this green was going to be a different color. I thought it was going to be a little bit more desaturated, and so I was going to maybe use that on the armor and then use like the gray, because I mean the Starship Troopers coloration is mostly grayish, but if you look at some of the screenshots, like there's just a little bit of a green tinge to some of it. Like the helmets look a little bit more greenish gray than just straight gray. And also I don't have a whole lot of grays to make a lot of good color variation. So I was trying to find something that would give sort of that color, but yeah, that green is just way too Cadia, and I don't want that. Hey Mikey, you mean my face or this face? I've only got the one camera, so there's not going to be face cam inside of this, unfortunately. Okay, well, I am going to go real quick and scrub off some of that, and then we'll just do a traditional on this. Alright, so unfortunately that means once again we go back into base coating. And we'll just have to start over. This isn't going to work out how I'd wanted with these guys. I wonder if I shouldn't just do this in black. You know, the stage right before I did the white was not actually too bad. So like having the black on there to fill in everything. And then the gray to pick out the edges and all that. Maybe that would be okay. Oh, as I just painted my desk. Excellent. It might also just be these models too. The white rubbery plastic of the Reaper miniatures is not very good at maintaining detail. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want that. I made a mistake way long ago, back in my younger days, of uh, painting while sitting on my bed. And I had a permanent black spot from some spilled paint on my sheets. That wasn't good. This is surprisingly difficult to get coverage on this. think old paint is going to be my nemesis here. Alright, boring gray base coat. The good old passing out in awkward positions. Oh no. Okay, well, yeah, that'll be good enough. Let me bring up this tutorial, this color scheme that Duncan does. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Looks like you wet the bed. That's pretty funny, actually. Okay, so let's go for base gray, which I guess would be uniform gray. I do have ash gray. Maybe I should do ash gray. What are my options here? Dark stone is a little too dark. So what if... Well, no, because I need a highlight. Alright, we'll use that. What am I going to use for... I guess I could use a green. I could use a green wash. That might actually work out. Or... paint it with that military shade. Well, we'll see if this mixed. Pop that off. And then putting it side by side with this elephant gray, maybe it'll allow me to see whether I should use one. Oh yeah. Well, for starters, that is plugged as hell. It is certainly coming out of my pot. Dropper, whatever. It's a little thick. It needs the medium. Just need to water it down as well. All right. Now what I actually should be doing is probably the skin tone first. I need to look at this. Just to get an idea of where all the straps and shit are going to be. Okay, it looks like I kind of just gloss over a lot of that here. Get that into actual focus. Just kind of go that separation. And the way I achieved this color was actually by using a brown with a green wash on it. Let's see. Now that's not really too much darker than the base coat. So obviously it's going to have to be compensated for when I do washing, shading. What about down here? It is a bit more noticeable. Okay. I don't mind that so much then. I definitely think I've got a little bit of an issue with all that pre-painting I did. An actual clean mini would be easier to see. I am going to go with the gray schemes. I'm going to try and figure out a way to make different gray colors that actually will stand out. Because I've only got like 4 different shades. But we're going to try and do more of a traditional paint scheme here. It's hard to tell now just because I did already base coat in gray. But as we pick out the other colors, hopefully that'll solve itself. Like I'm really not doing this correctly right now because I should be going for the inner parts that are hard to get to, like the face, and painting those first. Paint inside out. Okay, when the paint is drying, it's starting to pick up the color. There he is, definitely. Getting up and under there is going to be an issue. So yeah, let's go for that skin color first, so I'm not screwing myself on that. Let's do, I guess, tan flesh. Now here is where that speed paint was actually doing fine for me. And I wonder if maybe I shouldn't paint him. Maybe I should do a base coat of a lighter color so that when I use that. Okay, let's try that. Gotta shake up all these paints though. All right, let's see if this probably all dried in there. So if I remember correctly, I think Reaper calls this guy Aztec as his call sign. So I wanted a little bit more of a tanned flesh. Because that's something that bothers me too, is the lack of skin color variety. Everyone just picks the same peachy skin color for everything. I'd like to see a little bit more variety in that. Let's see, so like, this is definitely too wet. But if I give him that generic skin color, but then use that tan one as a wash over it later, it might darken it down while it's giving me the highlight that I want. Okay, definitely going to require another coat. Gonna have to let that one sit for just a minute. It is very subtle, and I don't think the camera, well, camera sort of picks it up. You can see just the slight variation in that base coat gray versus the gray that I painted the cloth with. I think I'm going to have to settle for stuff like that with a gray color scheme, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to make that stand out. If I could, well, I'm already zoomed in on the camera. Ideally, like the best videos that I've seen have them like about this close. But if it's that close, I can't see it, and I can't get this to zoom, so we'll just have to see. Well, hopefully the shade will pick out a little bit more of that for me. Kind of cover up some of the high points, like that nose that is not coming into focus. It's another thing with the Reaper miniatures. Because of the soft plastic, they don't hold detail. Yeah, I think once we get some shading in there, some recess shading, it'll make that pop out a little bit better. And then, of course, the highlighting will help bring in the contrast. It always looks pretty bland when you just do the base coat first. Okay, Duncan, what comes next? See, so this is where he's using sort of a brownish gray. Which, for me, the closest thing I have would be this dark stone. But I think it might be a little too dark, because that's what we get. That's what I used previously. Basically, I'm just recreating the scheme I've already done. Maybe if I mix them, maybe if I mix a little bit of that lighter gray in here. Let's see. Let's see how that works out for me. Can always paint over it. So I'll do a regular. Come on now. So let's take a little of that gray and mix it into there. Actually, that looks all right. So let's yeah, it's a bit lighter than the other one. But hopefully that will dry to the color that I want. So now we just color the armor bits. Actually, for Starship Troopers, I should probably actually just have a picture of Starship Troopers open. But for Starship Troopers, that actually kind of is the appropriate color. I suppose I'll get in there with it. This is bad mold is where you just got these really ambiguous kind of areas in there. All right, I need my already done over here so I can get an idea. Please do not paint the inside of the box. The problem with using a mixed color like this, though, is that when I paint the rest of these guys, it's going to be all over the place. I'm not going to have a consistent color. was a different color. And we've reached the end of the soundtrack. In fact, I should probably not be playing this one. Probably not a good idea to be playing that song, because that one might actually have copyright. Ain't nothing to see. Yeah, that's getting better there. Gotta make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Now, what have I got going on there? Same thing. Okay. It's all right. I need to turn this down. Holy crap. YouTube needs a little bit finer tuning for volume. Come on, there. Okay, yeah, so Blender is going all right. I think I definitely need a bit more time still with it, but you know. Okay. Well, hopefully this color is similar enough to the one that I mixed already. Is just a little bit darker by the look of it. That's okay, I guess. I suppose I could start giving this a second coat. That's not helpful. Maybe just go over some parts with the new color, just kind of darken it in. So I guess the lesson there is that if I'm going to try mixing colors, I need to mix a lot of it. Which itself is kind of risky business, because if it's a color you don't like, then you just wasted a bunch of paint. But, oh well. Okay, so we're doing the whole thing. Already breaking my admonishment. I should be doing it inside out, because then I should have painted the boot black before doing this, but oh well. See, so that actually looks like that should be black in there. And then we gotta do it upside down to get the rest of this. Well, this is gonna be kind of a mess. Oh well. They do really make some of these awkward to get to. Okay. Seem to have found the wet part of the paint. As it floods in there. I think that's all right. There. Well out of focus. Okay. So I think that'll work. And then I guess Necromancer Cloak. This might be something I have to mix a little bit too. just because it might actually be too dark. So. All of my bottles are plugged up, clogged. Oh boy. That yeah, that might be all right. It might not look all right. Yeah, actually, it's not bad. In fact, if anything, it is not dark enough. So maybe, if I let that dry for a moment. I don't want to do too much though. If I did a second coat of that, that would definitely darken it down. But I don't want it so dark. Maybe we can do some strapping. Let's use a different brush, one that's a little bit smaller for this. So like if I come in here, what have I got going on this thing? Black. And there is that second band right there. What did I do with this banding? Turn it black, yeah. That would probably be alright. Okay, that one doesn't have it. What about this one? Black strapping. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll leave it. I'll leave that color for the helmet. Because when I do the wash on that, that'll be a bit different. Okay. So now I guess it's time for the black. Gotta unplug all my paints. All right. It is a little bit wet, but we'll just go ahead and get started down here. So I can see that this must be leftovers from previous paint removal. Kind of gunked up on the bottom of the Mini there. I suppose one way I could camouflage that little peg there would be to put like a tuft or something on it. Yeah, I definitely should have done that first. Should have put the black on first. That works. And we'll just do the whole gun. And I am absolutely going to have to figure out different painting positions and camera positions because my shoulders are starting to hurt. This is not working out for me here. I need a little bit more paint and a little bit more water. It's a little too thick. Yeah, that might be too thin now. It does dry nice and fast, though. So that's something, I guess. Missing out on that. So I bought this a long time ago before I fully committed to getting into buying miniatures and miniature painting. And the thing is that Reaper miniatures are nice and cheap, but you get what you pay for. And it's definitely easy to tell where some certain parts of the model are just kind of just really chunky. Well, like this handle to the gun here, for example. There's absolutely no detailing in here whatsoever. I don't even know where to start with that. Just paint it there and hope that's enough. I guess I'll just do that whole backside. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's just a blob of plastic here, and I don't know what to do with it. But I guess black stays hidden, so that'll work there. Alright. Change my brush. Go for the straps here. And I managed to get a little bit on the gray because of course I did. See, the detailing is so ambiguous, like where the hell does that even... That strap doesn't come around to the other side. I guess we'll just make it up. Just make it up as I go. That is too thin. That is too thin of a coat. There. Now, I did do all the webbing and stuff. Hey, real talk stories. Well, I mean, which you mean the ones I'm doing right now in particular? I've been doing this for what, two and a half hours today. Overall, painting minis, I don't know, years? Like almost a decade, maybe? I don't think that's true. More like 7 or 8 years, maybe. I mean, I guess it depends on when we're talking, like the era that I got serious. Like years ago, probably high school, which would have been like 20 years ago, maybe. Thank you. I think I'm mediocre at best, but like I found an old Hero Quest at a thrift store, and so I tried my hand at painting those minis. I never had any Warhammer or anything for a while. In fact, I didn't really buy minis. I guess until I moved here, when I had a lot of free time and disposable income. So yeah, I would say like actual mini painting, about 7 or 8 years, which is also misleading because that implies that I've been doing it regularly. I mean, there's been like time. Well, okay, so when did I do the last painting stream? New Year's. So like 6 months have been in between there. Five months. And there's been considerable gaps in between times when I paint and when I don't. Which of course doesn't stop me from constantly collecting them. Yeah, like that's kind of What I would like to do with this, as with all the things I'm doing kind of as a side hobby, I would like to kind of do this, but in an accessible way. Like if I'm going to do tutorials, I would like it, not to be like the best painting you've ever seen, but something for like entry-level skill levels, and basically what I consider to be my skill level. Um, just to be quick and easy with decent results, and quick is not at all what's going on here, but that's what I was trying to do when I started the stream. It didn't work out, so we're just kind of going to the slow method. But were I to do tutorials, I would edit out a bunch of the boring shit like that. Okay. I don't know if I should just get those straps or not. What color should I do those straps? I guess I can wait until I do some of the other stuff. Oh, yes, and then of course there is the visor outline. We'll just have to paint over it because it's going to be, oh damn, that is way too watered down. It's going to be easier to get the outline of this now as opposed to when there's actual paint on it. We'll clean up the visor a little bit. So like what I did with this one, I did the gold. I think I'll do that for this one again. In fact, maybe I should just do a complete undercoat in black. Oh, and then there's those straps in there. And I guess that's a strap? See, this is what I would like to see some painting channels do more. It's really easy to make your paint jobs look nice, when you've got a really nice high definition sculpt from Games Workshop or Forge World or something like that. I would like to see people make these really gummy, just kind of bland looking models look good. Hey Claire. I think that would be a lot better when you don't have any detail, because then you'd have to paint in the detail. All right. Well, I plan to. In fact, I plan to keep making a larger variety of them. Which is funny to say since I haven't actually made any more videos for like a month now on the main channel, but I've been dividing my attention a little bit. Okay. Right, now it's time for that, the browns. I guess I'll just go for the appropriately named leather brown. And then I think we're ready for the washing. And that's where it's all going to make a difference. Because I do not want it to look like this guy. So I have to be careful not to overshade everything here. That'll completely change the look of it. To which point do I use my speed paints? Or do I use just the usual shades? What is that? Occultist cloak. That might look interesting. I'll have to see. Alright. Let's hope that this paint is nice and mixed. I know it's not going to be. Oof. Too much. Too much. Okay. So I guess I wanted to do that here, where there's no detail whatsoever. Maybe I'll just go over that whole pad. I don't know why I'm still using this brush. I have new brushes with nicer points on them. It's just familiarity, I guess. Oh yeah, and then there's the gold. Is that easier to get to that way? I think that's going to require a second coat. We'll see here about these straps. Probably wouldn't be a different color strap on these in reality. But it's a nice little color differentiation. Helps make it stand out a bit. Definitely needed a finer point on that one. Oh well. Go back over that with a different color anyway. Gotta my other one just to reference anything that I might be missing. Oh, the gloves themselves, dummy. That's a pretty big thing to forget. Oh, can I get in there? That's hard enough to get in there. I don't think I'll bother with that one. Paint. Need more paint. That might be a little too much paint on the brush. Alright, second coat. On what needs it. There. Back to those straps. And then it's time for brass. Let's say brass. Or weapons bronze, whatever. Was there any silver? Probably should be some silvers. Alrighty. So we'll go back into the goggles so I can clean my brush off a little bit better. Certainly will need a second coat. What I would like to do, if I can shade these properly, get it to look a little bit more reflective. I don't know that I've got the skills for that. We'll try. And then there's the badge on the chest. Gotta clean that up. Just made a mess there. And then what? There's no belt buckle here. Is that really it? Huh. Okay. What about a little of this? Once again, it's all plugged up. Don't want to go using too much. Alright, so obviously picking out just some of the stuff. I don't even know what that is. Just pick out some details to make it stand out. Nothing crazy. I mean, that's just a really bad sculpt. Like, there's no detail in that. That's what I'm going to blame that on anyway. Alright, get in here and fix the issues that I gave myself. A little bit of the cleanup. It might be wet enough. It's a little too wet. We won't mess with it. Let it dry. And I think, oh, I did have another place to use the metallics. Right back there. And now that I think about it, get some of that black again. Oh wow. Well, that black is definitely stayed wet. Just these little straps down there. That is perhaps too wet. Now I think I've got everything. All right. Well, that's just the base coating. There's no shading or highlighting in there yet. But overall, it is a significantly lighter and therefore easier to see detail job than the previous guy that I've done. That helmet is super shiny. I think the paint medium was a little bit thin on that one. But yeah, like you can actually see detail on this guy now. So I think I'll probably just deal with that myself some other time, because this has been going on for 3 hours now. And I think if I continue this until completion, it's going to be another hour and a half at least. So I think that I'll just end this one here for today. This was mostly just to try and set up, or test out a new setup, as opposed to what I've done in the past, just to see if this is actually something viable that I could do for painting videos. The primary thing is just keeping it in frame and in focus. And that's really hard to do with my setup, just because it's so crowded right here with the camera and everything. Maybe the camera positioning just isn't the best after all. Although it did seem to make it easier for me to get into details and see stuff and then still have it be in the camera. But yeah. Okay. Well, I will end this one here for today then. So thanks for watching. Have a good whatever. And I'll see you next week, maybe for painting, maybe for something else. I don't know. This has become my variety stream, whatever I feel like sort of thing. So I will see you next time.